Welcome to the creator portion of the Spotlight here on the Spotlight. I, of course, am Steven Jensen, as always, with Jeremy Lambert. And our guest today is a returning guest. He's someone you know. He is Dad Bot, a.k.a. Dad, a.k.a. Nathan Barnett. He is also an undefeated boxer who you may have seen win once again at Creator Clash 2 over Star Killa, a.k.a. AB. Dad, thanks for joining the show again. How you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me. Honor as usual. I'm pumped. I'm feeling great. Second victory, another round one TKO. Dad can't be stopped.
Yes. Now, before we even get into the fight, I want to jump right into this because you know this is Fightful.com. We are a professional wrestling website. You made a lot of noise, not only in the ring that night with your fists against AB, but right afterwards, you make the massive call out. You call out the WWE. We know you're boys with John Morrison, aka Johnny Spotlight. He was right here on the show before. We know your relationship and kind of your past. Can you refresh some of the fans who may not know kind of your history with the WWE? Because you called out the whole company, and then you more specifically called out one Seth freaking Rollins.
Yes, and it's interesting because a lot of people were like, "Oh, he called out like the roster." I wasn't calling out the entire roster of WWE. I was calling out the company itself entirely, the building and all their buildings, because I feel, and I don't ever want to be presumptuous and demanding, and I'm not cocky. I'm sometimes maybe too like, oh, well, unassuming and trying to like, not be that annoying guy. But like, dang, man, I feel I do deserve a tryout over there. It's been 2 times. I have contracts that have been sent to me. I had a plane set up to fly me out. Things get canceled. Employees get, fired. Positions get moved. It's the bane of my existence. It's what keeps happening to me. And I feel I'm made to do this. I'm good at this. Characters are my thing. Acting is my thing. I'm on television all the time. I've sold television shows to all the comedy networks. And I'm like, this is what I do. I've been doing this forever. And I'm a stuntman, self-taught gymnast, a boxer. I'm knocking people in the ring. Like, what I've done my whole life is wrestling all together. And like, I've done wrestling. Rikishi trained me. I've been in there. So I often feel like, oh, I don't want to be bothering people. And I don't want to be demanding things. But I was backstage at Creator Clash 2 with Scarlett, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, and they're all telling me, do what you're doing. Say what you said in the ring. They sent Seth Rollins what I said to him, so he's seen it himself. I know, he can do only what he's told to do. But they're like, what you're doing is right. Don't give up. Be that guy. Keep pushing. And it kind of gave me a good motivation. But yes, sorry, this was a little bit of a long rant. To catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, to catch up with people who don't know who I am, I do characters, I do stunts, I do physical comedy. I'm kind of like a Jim Carrey of the internet. I've had some TV stuff here and there. And I love wrestling, always love wrestling. And my characters have gotten into wrestling. I had a big feud with Dolph Ziggler that was a mostly digital thing on YouTube. Vince McMahon himself has tweeted my videos. I tried out for Tough Enough in character. And I think people thought it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. I genuinely wanted to try out, and I was trying to. It was the most viewed thing they've had in any of their Tough Enough seasons, auditions. Like I kill it often on the internet as Keith, just on America's Got Talent as Keith, fooled Simon Cowell, thought I was a real person. Vince said himself, he goes, I love this guy. We got to get him on Raw. That's the exact quote from a WWE employee who told me he sat there and watched my video with Vince McMahon. Triple H knows who I am. I don't know how Triple H feels about me. I know how things are working now over there now. I want everyone to like me and hopefully see how I could work. In my opinion, I feel everything I've done, I'm made to be in the WWE. I'm a huge fan of WWE. I'm emotionally connected to WWE. I love pro wrestling in general. I would work for anybody, but I have this thing where I just really want to work for them because I like them the most. I love them. This woman who was in my life, that was the love of my life. She passed away recently. She and I bonded heavily over WWE. And my best moments in my life were at WrestleMania in Florida with her, at NXT shows, at seeing them at Raw and SmackDown Live. Like, I need to do this. I belong there. I want to do it. I would be good at it. And I just want the tryout. That's all I want is a tryout. So just please, I'm begging for it. So yes, at the Creator Clash, I called out Seth Rollins. I figured I got 20,000 people in this arena in front of me. I'm taking this moment to segue into where I belong. And then 20 minutes later, I'm walking out with LA Knight to support John against Harley. I was like, this is it, dude. I'm on my way. So and now I'm here talking to you guys, the legends of all this, the ones that tell everyone what's going on. And I'm actually, it's really weird for me to even be here talking to you about this because I feel like maybe I'm manifesting it. And, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I will do whatever it takes. I will kill myself. I'll kill my mind. Don't do that. I'll kill meaning I'll kill myself in the gym and grind and work in my, I'll do what I have to do to get there, and I won't stop ever.
Yeah, and we appreciate it, man. And you putting us over like that, we really appreciate getting our ego stroked a little bit. Being your go-to guys here in the pro wrestling world.
That's where I find out everything that's going on. So, I'm probably overthinking things, but like I know people would be like, "Oh, who are you? You're nobody." Like, I haven't done the indies, obviously. Like, if I was just to pursue wrestling, I should do the indies. But I feel the past 20 years I've been doing another thing. I've been honing my craft as an actor and a physical comedian, a stuntman, a gymnast, and I'm an entertainer. If Logan Paul's in there, I feel I at least deserve it more than him. I'll say that. So I'm the guy that really actually wants to be there. And Rikishi has trained me. I've done training. I've done some GCW stuff with John. So it's like, I do feel like I would like to go and be trained by WWE instead of work in the indies. I'll take what I've learned in my career, in my path, and apply it to what I would then be taught, at the performance center. So,
sure.
Yeah.
When, we had to
rant.
No, for sure. We had to talk to you today. Well, I'm glad we were able to talk to you today, because when I messaged you initially, I think it was like right after your fight, I just sent you a DM and I was like, dude, congratulations. Like, that was awesome. And then like, I don't think you'd even made the call out yet. And then like you call out Seth Rollins and I'm watching this. I'm like, oh man, he's like, this is a pro wrestling move he's making here. So then when you got back to me, I think it was the next day, you were like, oh, yeah, you just said like, I appreciate it or whatever. And I was like, it clicked in my head and I was like, dude, if you're free, we can talk about this call out right now. Like, let's talk about what people, while people are buzzing. So
for sure.
This is great. I hope that the people over there see this. I hope that the word spreads even more, because I want to see Dad involved in the WWE, and I want to see a response from Seth Rollins. I really do. So
I would love to see a response. I know like Ziggler and Austin Creed and Bray Wyatt is a big fan of mine. He and I, it's not public. No one has seen our interactions, but Bray and I, he's a fan of the Dad character. I'm obviously a fan of his. So we've talked. I found that out when he shared a GIF of me one time last year as Dad. Dad's doing this thing. He's giving thumbs up, but it's in an episode of the Dad series. Dad's saying, I'm going to be the best YouTuber in the universe, but it's actually me it's sign language for help. So it's a little secret thing. And Bray, Bray and I do are very similar, like with the cryptic Dad stuff and the secrets. So we've become fans of each other and friends. And so like all these people, like, I'm like already there. I'm just not employed, So I'm like, come on, dude, like this has to happen. So Seth Rollins, if he appreciates the joke, I would, I'd be honored, but I know he can't really do anything himself. But if they allow him to do something, it would change my life. I mean, I'm ready to go the long route and go behind the scenes and work for them and train for them, do whatever they want me to do and clean the freaking toilets. Like legitimately, I will do whatever it takes, because it would be an honor to do that. So if it works out, it'd be amazing. But I called him out because my thinking was, WWE, it's a little bit of like a jab as a fan because they hire Logan Paul, a guy who's a huge YouTuber. He's got big numbers. That's why he's there. The world feels a certain way about him. That's why he's there. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that has never really fully made it like that. It's just I'm the guy people go, oh yeah, him. I've seen him around. So I don't really have a draw for them. So I'm thinking I'm gonna just address the reality that I'm living in. You're gonna get Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, the guy who can't win a YouTube boxing match. He hasn't won. He had a draw and he's lost all the other times. He gets to wrestle. Seth Rollins is calling out every spot for him. You can hear it. Like, dude, how about get the guy that will work his butt off, actually can wrestle, has been trained with WWE Hall of Famers, and will work. I know this to Logan. He does a good job, but like, I just feel it's unjust in the universe. Like, if he can do it, I should be able to do it. And I will, as soon as I get to that first night, I know I can make people remember me. I've been doing it out in all these other worlds outside of WWE. So please, WWE, let me do it for you. I'll make you richer. And now, as long as I got enough money to buy a sandwich and pay my rent, I am pumped. So that's all I need.
Tell me about these two contracts. So you said that you've had two contracts with them. When was the timeline on that, and what fully happened there?
It's technically one contract. There was I guess in reality there were actually two contracts. It was the thing I signed way back when I was doing stuff with Dolph to do digital content with them. And I thought that was like the stepping stone to doing more. And then there was an actual contract for a tryout that an employee who was let go a couple of years ago sent it to me during like the COVID kind of like, release of a lot of people. They sent me the contract. They sent me the flight info, the hotel info, where I was going to stay. It was all set. I was like, oh my God, I'm going. And that contract in the picture, there's a picture of me I tweeted. That's it. I still have it sitting there. And then they canceled on me like a day or two before. And they're like, oh, actually, we're moving the tryout. It's going to be this other day. It's not happening. And then that guy ended up not working there shortly later. I was like, oh God, my contact is gone. So it's like, I know other people, but I don't want to keep asking my friends that are wrestlers there, like, hey, can you help me out? I don't want to be that annoying guy. I'm trying to take the right route and just get on someone's radar. Like, that's what happens. Like you're telling me Dylan Dennis, a guy who hasn't even boxed, he's famous for backing out of a KSI fight, he's now getting worked with them? How about the dude who's getting 4 million views on 5 million views today on ESPN for actually winning and doing the best boxing entrance in the universe? I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like, come on, Dylan Dennis is getting jobs here. Like, what is going on? So yeah, I do have a contract that they sent me, and I haven't got the tryout is the thing. I'm just still waiting for the tryout. So, and if they even remember me, I don't even know who's working there that knows me now. I do know some people, but I'm trying to hit up the right people, not badger the ones who aren't involved in this process, So anyway.
Can you just like?
Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah. We hear you good.
Yeah.
Okay. The tow truck guy is now jumping my back.
Oh, this is great.
I'm on a call, but I'm right here if you need anything. Talking to my friends.
Fightful.com.
Thanks, dude. Should I turn the key off, turn everything off? It's on the AC mode right now. Okay.
Yeah. No, everything's still coming through great. Yeah, we had no idea. We
I'm
going into the.
I'm driving back to LA tomorrow. I just go back from Critical Clash. I'm in Portland where my coach lives. I trained with him for 3 months. I moved here just to train every day, twice a day for 3 months. So things are going a little haywire as right before I drive home to Los Angeles.
Yeah, well,
so
yeah, this is great. I know you said going into the interview here that you might have the guy. I didn't know he was already there, so that's
he just showed up and he just started getting to work, and I was like, I figured I should say hello to him.
he's like, what's up with this jerk? He's just staring at his phone, watching me. That's funny.
Can you just show up to the performance center with the contract? But look, I got this contract. Like, someone validate this thing. Let me get to work here.
Well, I was thinking like maybe I should try to get some viral moment going on. Like I get into one of my characters, Keith or Dad, whoever. Keith, I feel, is the most appealing for them. He's basically the Ellsworth that is, in my opinion, as a wrestling fan, the better Ellsworth. I liked Ellsworth, but like that's who Vince saw. That's who a lot of people like and think is a good character for the world. He'd be a good valet, a good manager, a good bumbling oaf, but who can also do a backflip and take a bump and I can do some major moves as a former gymnast. So I feel I could do something like that where I show up you want me to turn it off or on? Okay. This is turning my car on for the dude.
No, this is perfect. No, we appreciate this. Yeah.
Nothing's happening. This is riveting interview.
No, this is great. This is the realness that people are looking for.
There it goes. All right, guys, we're about to get it going.
This is great.
Oh, it's on. Let me keep it running for a minute.
Yeah, so
wow.
Okay.
Okay. So I just keep it running with that your thing attached, or just let it run on its own? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Perfect. Cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anything else I can help?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Right.
Let's hear it for Eric, the tow truck, guys.
Hey, good job, man. Good job, man.
Big pop for Eric.
Me too.
Eric.
Dude, Eric is over right now.
Yes. Eric, Creator Clash 3.
Yes. So now I can talk to you guys all day now. My phone is no longer going to be at 8%.
Okay, this is great.
And now I can turn the brightness up and see you. So
awesome.
I don't have to salvage every bit.
Jeremy, you have more follow-ups,
Thanks,
pro wrestling follow-ups? Because I have like a ton of stuff I can ask about the actual event.
Say that one more time.
Well, I was just
I was
asking
gonna get-
Jeremy if you want to ask some more pro wrestling questions before we get into the actual Creator Clash event, because I got a ton of questions about that as well.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I was gonna add, or I was gonna let you continue of possibly showing up to the performance center and just you said you might just go there, try to create a viral moment out of that.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, should I do some stuff like that gets them some attention and publicity? Like that maybe becomes the storyline organically. Like this guy's been trying to get in here to WWE. He's 42. He's probably too old according to the the people who do the hiring. They want 22-year-olds, but like I want it more than any of them. I wonder if I should do something like that. I show up. I did post a picture on Twitter today where I did recently go to the Performance Center and I'm standing there going, I'm here. So maybe I do some sort of video where I just sleep there and let the police escort me away and just keep coming back and like do some viral thing, like an Andy Kaufman type bit where it's like, I don't harm anyone, cause too much trouble, but like show them like, I'm here. I'm doing this. So I don't know. That is an option. But I just don't want to rub people the wrong way and bother my way in there. I want to do it where it's entertaining and fun for people and it works. That's why I just wish I could talk to somebody. But like, there's no traditional way of going about it, I guess. So kind of I just got to go with what I got, I guess, and do what I think is right. So I don't know.
You mentioned signing a digital content tryout. Like, what was that supposed to entail? You said it was with Ziggler. What was that supposed to entail? Were you going to work on like the YouTube side of things?
Yeah, we had this like it was like a 3 to 5 video deal where it's like you will be paid this money to have a feud with Dolph Ziggler, because I started this feud on my own organically. I made a video as my Keith Abacari character calling out Dolph, saying he had a bad attitude, he was a jackass. I just did it for fun as a video for myself, and then he liked it and thought it was funny. So he had a show at the time called the WWE Download that was a YouTube show, and WWE was like, "Oh, this is funny, yeah. Let's work in a little storyline with you." So every episode he'd review like fail videos, make commentary on them, and he had a little storyline going during them where he goes, "Oh, and does Keith Abacari, the fan out there who thinks he's like number one, he started trash talking me." And I was like, "Oh, it's on." So we had a back and forth video series where Keith would then talk trash about him. I made this victory dance video where I was like, "This is the dance I'm going to do when I destroy you." And then I got like millions of views. It was me dancing around in my wrestling gear, which is tighty whities. And he basically went back and forth for a while, and WWE was like super into it. So after that organic little feud we created, they're like, "All right, let's pay you a little bit to also promote these new action figures we have, and you guys can have a little feud." But the thing is, it never completed. We never did this final little ending bit where we're supposed to get in a ring and we can't make physical contact because since I wasn't hired as a wrestler, he can't touch me. So I had this whole plan of like how we could do a match where basically Keith just defeats himself on accident and we don't, we can have a conclusion. Never had that conclusion. So maybe it's for the better, because now if I get hired, we can finally get in the ring. I don't know, was it 10 or 11 years later? So that was a contract for just making content was the contract. It's not, that was it. It wasn't to like be a performer for them. So gotcha. I guess it's a stretch when I say 2 contracts. There's really been 1 contract they sent me to, and it wasn't to be hired. It was basically a contract to be like, we're going to have you come here to try out, So I guess it's a bit of clickbait when I say I got the contract, but it sounded good in the ring because I literally have WWE paperwork that I signed. So it's like, I'm not lying. I had the open invite and it just hasn't happened yet.
Speaking of the digital content stuff, like it actually broke today through Fightful Select right here that WWE and Twitch have like a deal with the talent again to where they can, like the wrestlers can go back on Twitch now and stuff. So like kind of perfect timing that we're even talking about this right now.
Yeah. I just heard about that. That's great. I think that's awesome. I always thought that was kind of weird. I mean, I sort of understand. I do see why they did that, but it's you can make the comparison and say like that people doing that is like telling, Tom Cruise, "Oh, you can't go and stream because HBO won't let you." It's like when he leaves the studio, he can go stream if he wants. They're not gonna say no. We own you. You're undercut. You can't do another movie with another studio, but a stream is not a movie. You know what I mean? Like
right.
In the time you're working on this, you're under our contract. But I guess the thing is, WWE, you're always under their contract forever because the movie never ends. It's weekly. But I feel it should be when you're in the arena on set, like an actor in a studio or, on a set somewhere. You're under contract for that moment. You can go home and do whatever you want after your clock out. But I guess that's what it's turning into now. So it's all working out.
Yeah. All right. Moving to Creator Clash, still sort of a wrestling question because we're going to start right off the top with Creator Clash. That entrance, that had to be an homage to the Ultimate Warrior, and then the tumble into the ring. Walk us through or run us through that whole entrance there.
So it wasn't rehearsed. I didn't rehearse it because I didn't want to tell them what I was going to do to dive into the ring. They knew I was going to run to the ring. And yes, it was definitely Ultimate Warrior, one of my favorites. I've always thought, how awesome would it be for a boxer to charge in there, be like, come on, let's go. Just high energy. If you saw my entrance last year, Creator Clash 1, it was just big energy, big dancing, and people were like, oh my God, he's going so hard. He's exerting so much energy. But I have lots of cardio, and I knew it wouldn't be a problem, especially with my opponent coming out after I get a moment to breathe and chill out and be ready to go again. So I've danced for 12 hours nonstop in December on YouTube. I just kept dancing for 12 hours and didn't stop moving. And I danced pretty hard too. It's not just like moving my hands. I like to go all out and prove to people like I will go to psychotic levels and do crazy things for entertainment. So running to the boxing ring, it wasn't a big deal. So when I ran and I dove over the ropes, I didn't know how I was going to get in until I hit the stairs. I was like, well, guess I'm running. Guess I'm diving because I'm moving too fast. And I had to just dive. As I dove, I was like, I thought a lot happened in my head when I dove. I was like, okay, I can just do I could just go into a somersault and tuck and roll. But I thought I might injure myself. I don't want to screw this up. So I grabbed the ropes to make it a little safer. And then that twisted up my glove into the ropes, which got it stuck, and I had to like yank it out. But I wasn't bummed about it. I didn't care. It was a blunder, but it didn't matter. Every boxer backstage, because they know I do physical comedy, I'm always like falling down stairs in my videos and doing like physical bits. They're like, "Oh, was that on purpose?" And I was like, "No, it wasn't on purpose. I was supposed to look cool. I wasn't trying to be funny in this entrance, but it was kind of it worked in my, it's my type of thing." So I was totally fine with it. It also just added chaos. It was like, oh my God, this is wild. This dude's just throwing himself, and now he's going to box. And the boxing was just as intense. Yeah, it worked out. But my friend Big Bob, my other friend is 6'7". He's taller than Harley. He walks out with me every year. He tore his Achilles recently. Oh, and actually he like snapped it, I think. He's like, I'm not running. I can't run. The idea was going to be like the whole group runs. But then John had a match later. I didn't want to make John run and burn him out or anything. And my coach, he's super cool and a super like legit boxing dude. He's like real cool. He's the only one that like bolted right behind me, jumped in the ring, and he was like going crazy. So I was like, all right, then John got in there and he started jumping around, and Big Bob had to like hang outside to not hurt his leg. But anyway, yeah, I had the gang there again and caused some chaos before the match, and it worked out. A little wild, but it worked out.
But before you even ran out there, and this is something that I think is interesting about like the Creator Clash and kind of like the pacing of the shows and the presentation of the show, because I think it's really well done how like they produce it where there's not downtime. Like you go from fight to fight, there might be a little video package in between. You get an interview from everyone like before you run out there, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask about is kind of what that's like, because they have like S-Fan and Amaranth back there, like right before you're gonna do this fight, this very like legitimate boxing fight. Like this is a serious thing, but I think it's really interesting and kind of a testament to y'all as just like performers, like YouTuber performers, how so many of y'all stay like in that character, or even if you don't have a character like Dad, even like I'm blanking on her name, the girl who winked at the camera in between rounds on the bench and on the stool and stuff. Like there's everyone's always playing to the crowd because they know like their YouTube audience is there and that's who supports them. So can you speak to that at all? Because that's something different about most events where like the whole thing is this show for your fans, and you never really, I feel like you always have that in mind when you're out there in front of that crowd. Like even when you're not fighting, you're like, I still got to be, for instance, you're doing the interview right before you're out there and you're talking about your quantum fists. Like you're still being Dad, So if you can just kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah, well, for me specifically, I'm the hardest character. I'm the only one that does acts and does character work. Everyone else is pretty much themselves. They do like live streams or cooking shows or open Pokemon cards. They're usually themselves, but they have a screen name, which sort of sounds like a character. But I'm a robot man who comes from the 22nd dimension. He has quantum fist because he has quantum energy. There's all this whole lore behind Dad. So I'm pretty extreme in that case. So I'm always like, hi, yes, I'm Dad, but I will destroy. So it's like hard character. So I feel like I'm the closest to the pro wrestling world. And then Harley is probably a close second in character because he always does a really good entrance. He like looks like a character. He's always sort of like talking. He's got such good promos. So Harley and I, and we've talked, I've known Harley for 15 years. We both want to segue into wrestling. So we keep talking like I'd wrestled against, sorry, I'm getting off track here, but like Harley and I feel like should go into wrestling and do something with John and like Joey Janela or something, like we tag team against. So 2 wrestlers versus 2 YouTubers. And we just do a couple little spots here and there and spice things up. But during the show, you're right. A lot of these YouTubers, it is very much like a WWE show or a pro wrestling show in the fact that everyone has some sort of a character. Everyone's colorful, the pageantry, the production, everyone's a character, even the hosts. It looks like pro wrestling, but the only thing difference is we start punching each other for real, and it's sloppy and chaotic, and it's not this like choreographed, graceful, match. But everything else before and after is pro wrestling, and I look at Creator Clash of all YouTube boxing as the WWE of YouTube influencer boxing. And then these other ones like Misfits is more like UFC because they're more like not trying to be, some of them are pretty close to legit boxers, but the image, this is all my opinion and how I sort of view it. They're more like, like less colorful and bright colors and less silly characters and more just like they're actually trash talking and getting actual fights backstage and their press conferences. There's a lot of like more intense language there. Creator Clash is pretty brand safe and friendly, and it also spans every wall over the internet. Like the vast types of characters and creators in Creator Clash is so big. Like in pro wrestling, you have such a wide variety of characters, and a lot of the other ones are sort of like more from the same world. So I look at Creator Clash as a really natural segue to the WWE world or like AEW kind of world. But I get real into character, and I agree with what you're saying. It's I think wrestling audiences can into it. A lot of the fans who watch me are huge wrestling fans because of what I do is very wrestling related and wrestling adjacent, so they all enjoy the Creator Clash. As I've heard that a lot from them. So that's why I got in my head. I'm like, this is just natural for me to call out Seth Rollins and the entire company of WWE after my match. Like, where else am I going to go from here? I don't want to box forever. I want to wrestle and I want a job to perform and act, so let's do it.
I'm glad he brought up Harley too, because like his entrance was awesome. And like I've seen him live front row. I think he was at Elimination Chamber live because that was in Canada. And I know he's Canadian. So I think that's where I'd seen him recently, like front row and stuff. And he's a big dude too. Who also, I'm going to give him credit right now. I know we talked to John and you before the fight, and I had said that I thought Harley was in for a pretty rough night just because like John Morrison is just such a super athlete, and he's basically a combat athlete already going into this. And he is, I know he's a martial artist and stuff, and it's just and so Harley to even take that fight, he has a lot of balls to even do that. And I thought he really held his own in there for like as long as it went. So like he really Harley deserves a lot of credit. I mean, Morrison obviously all the credit in the world for the performance, but like Harley has some big balls for taking that fight.
Totally. And Harley like is a natural performer, so that like I don't think it even harmed him. He's so beloved in the Creator Clash world that it just taking that beating alone, and it deserves a round of applause, So and he was right there in good spirits after, and he's like, how about we do a rematch in a wrestling ring now? So it was like a perfect little storyline. Next step is like, all right, now they wrestle and enter John's world because John entered his world. So maybe Harley would beat John in wrestling for a major upset just like this. Because a lot of people did think Harley was going to take it because one shot from him is like devastating. It's like hard to get in past long arms like that. I wasn't sure. I know John's cardio is psychotic. So I was like, he'll be able to, if he moves and he avoids Harley and he avoids those like major clubs, then maybe he'll be good. But I didn't expect John to dominate that much. It's like, wow, dude, you like really went all out. It was basically me versus Matt Watson last year. He made a 6'6" man look like 130-pound teenage boy, you know.
He knocked him through the ropes. I was worried
Yeah.
when he went through the ropes and fell on the announce table. I was like, oh, he just got back up and he got knocked out a couple more times, but he got back up from that. I was like, bless this man. Like, he does not need to continue after this, but here he is.
Not at all. It was insane. I've never seen anything like that in pro boxing, YouTube boxing, and maybe even pro wrestling. It was wild. I mean, obviously we've seen it all in pro wrestling. So yeah, the only place we've seen that is in pro wrestling.
Well, I loved Harley's reaction right when he hit like the announce desk on the outside. His face, he was like,
Yes.
oh, yeah. Like, I mean, just what a great reaction. So yeah, massive shout out to Harley. You know,
Yeah.
I think that was, and of course John. I think John would be really, really, really successful like in this space if he wants to continue doing it. There was some big standouts. Like I had seen Myth do the chess boxing before. He looks like a guy if he sticks with it, he's going to be a real problem for everybody.
Definitely.
So, a lot of real talent on the show. iDubbbz, he's getting a lot better. He was way better since the last fight, and what a transformation he's made. So I mean, what a just great show, just all across the board for y'all. This super successful night. On top of that, all the money y'all raised, all the charity. If you want to speak to that a little bit, just like working with iDubbbz and Anissa and the whole event kind of in general and all the money you guys are raising doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a very heartwarming event to be a part of. It's awesome, especially in a world where like it's YouTube boxing and influencer boxing. I feel often people feel they need to be hard and tough and edgy and like look like, you know, these trash talking professional boxers. But like, no, why can't we just have fun and be nice to each other and be friends and do it for charity? And that's exactly what Creator Clash is. So it's an honor to be a part of it. They always they've raised like 1.3 million last year. I'm sure it's more this year. I don't know the numbers, but it's amazing. iDubbbz and Anissa are awesome people. They call you all the time. They're checking in on you. Like Anissa does everything. She's like always, she has so much going on. And they just had this idea. They're just like, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I'd be like, that's too big of a thing for me. But it's like me just going, hey, what if I have a 20,000 seat arena with a bunch of like legendary YouTubers and people from across the internet punch each other in the face and get them all legitimate trainers? That's like insane to even think about. The insurance and the touring company, Real Good Touring, Aaron Hansen's company is behind it. It's like these people came together and did an amazing event from nothing. It's very impressive. And I think it's only going to grow. Only going to get bigger. I think Creator Clash could become legit like entity like WWE or something in that space, and even start working with other companies like professional wrestling organizations. So yeah, they're amazing. iDubbbz and Anissa, I love them forever. They're legends for dealing with the stress that they deal with, and Ian's then training like a psychopath, and then has to get beat up during all of this. Like, I bow down to them for that. They're awesome. So they deserve anything they get that comes to them afterwards, opportunity wise.
Sure. And you, by no means, you have to elaborate on this. I just wanted to bring it up because I know you said there was a lot of stress that they deal with going into these fights, a lot dealing with it, running these events. It would be irresponsible for me not to bring this up because it was a big thing going into the fight. But the Froggy Fresh situation, I know you were dragged into that quite a bit. I'm very familiar with Sam Hyde. I'm very familiar with, but I'm an outsider looking in, and I'm trying to see both sides of all of it. I'll just say, I really wish none of that happened. I really wanted to see him compete on the card, and I really wish all that got taken care of, like behind the scenes, and it just got figured out, and it just got way too public. And it's just one of those things where, like, I know that so many people, yourself included, have said such nice things about Anissa and iDubbbz, and I feel like that's really important that it gets out there because there was also a lot of narrative that was the opposite, but it's also, you have to look at the whole picture of who's running the event, the background of the people running the event, and then at the end of the day, like you're saying, Creator Clash is different than a lot of these, really any other combat sport type show because it's friends doing something for charity. It isn't about competing with one another. So I don't know if you wanted to elaborate on that at all. You definitely don't have to, but it was something that was like a really big talking point going into the event.
I don't even like talking about because it's icky and it's depressing and it's sad and it's like, it's just a shame. And I think, he made mistakes and he didn't communicate and it just didn't work out. And it was also a thing where it's like, nope, sorry, dude, not even going down this road, not worth it for this big company. It's a good thing for good people. Sorry. It's not worth it for anyone involved and all their people that have so much at stake to even entertain any of this after what had happened. And it's not as simple as people think. People said, oh, he just instantly was kicked out. That's not the case at all. many times contact was made, did not respond. So they're like, well, sorry, we're not going to play this game here. We're done, moving on. And it's like, if some other giant company, UFC, like someone did this, they'd be gone. It's like, you don't do this. This is a professional company with people working hard to do this who are grown adults. You're not messing around here. This is stupid. So anyways,
Sure.
I think it was unfortunate. I don't think he is a bad person, but I think he made a mistake and wasn't. Can you imagine? I can't imagine I would do something like that. Like I'd be like it was dumb and irresponsible and ignorant. And like, it's a lesson I think maybe he needs to learn. But regarding the other people outside that have nothing to do with it, that are being like sort of trying to tear it down, like I have no comment on them, and I will never have anything. I will never be involved with people like that. I try to only associate with people who I think bring positivity to the world. So
that's totally fair. I appreciate any comment at all on that. And for what it's worth, I did see some of the detractors. I won't name names, but I did see some of the detractors after the event, even giving the event credit, that were like, you know what? I said a lot of stuff going into it, but that was a fun event to watch. Like, you know, but it's one of those.
You can't deny what the event is. The event is amazing. It's run by professionals who are good people trying to do a good thing. And all the other people who just people are just trying to be mean. And it's just sad that people exist that still want to act like that. And like, you got to just ignore it and be like, hope they become better people and they find something that they love and have reason to exist. And positivity is spread sometime, somewhere, when they'll grow up and get out of this phase of just trying to tear things down for no reason.
Last thing I'll say about it at all, and we'll move on, was another shout out to Harley, because he took some big bullets during that situation. He was speaking up a lot when like it was not the popular thing to be speaking up at the time, like, you know, on behalf of IDubbbz and Anissa. So I just wanted to throw that out there too. So, and once again, I'm just a fan on the outside, but I'm like, I pay really close attention to this space. So like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on as it's happening. I'm going in I'm listening to all the Twitter spaces and stuff, and I'm like, someone says sounds wrong. What do I believe? And it's just one of those things where so I appreciate the comment, and we can move on from there. But hell of an event. Awesome event. Event.
Knocked it out of the park again. There will be a third one, apparently. I saw a tweet today from Anissa, and I guess they're working on it soon after a little break. If they want me, I have plans that might surprise people for next year. So that's all I'll say. But originally I was like, I think I should take a year off, take a break, because I'm trying to film a movie. But I'm trying. I kind of want to work it in where I get that done before the next, because a year is good enough time for me to like get ready and start training again after I shoot this movie. Or if I get a new career in wrestling, maybe I can wrestle until leading up to it and get, save some cash with a nice wrestling paycheck. So I would like to be involved somehow. I think a third one would be a cool final one. Like I have a trilogy, and see if I can be undefeated in my boxing career. So
do you have any like potential names? Well, actually, we already know who you want to fight. If you want to elaborate on that, I was about to say like you set up your next fight right after this fight. So
I wanted to fight Nexpo last year for this year, but AB was already involved, and I think he only wanted to do one more if he did one. So it kind of made sense to like, all right, we're the same height and weight. We both fought once. No one saw what I did. They saw him go the distance with Hundar, guys who were bigger than me. So it made sense on paper. So I was like down for that. I was like, all right, cool, I'm down for that. But I still would love to fight Nexpo. And Nexpo was there. He was like down for the call out. We had talked about it, so he was like there, ready to get in my face. So that was fun. And Nexpo was bigger than me. He weighs like 205. I'm 170 when I'm like fit. I could hit like 180, so we'd have to meet like 180, 185. So that might be a struggle. I think he's 2 inches taller than me. I'm 6 feet. He's like 6'2". So that would be an interesting one. Size versus a little bit of experience. I'm not amazing, but maybe it's enough of an advantage. But he did start training last year. He has done some training, so he's not completely, ignorant to it. So yeah, next one would be good, but I don't know. There could be someone else that makes more sense, who's more ready, and I don't know. I'm open. Nothing is locked, but that would be a storyline I think that would be interesting to his fans and my fans, because we do have some history between Dadbot and Nexpo, where there was his cult. He's in a cult group called the Dark Party, and they tried ruining Dadbot's life, and it was a pretty sketchy stuff, sketchy stuff going on in the facility in Town, USA. So I think maybe they need to settle it in the ring. It's almost too much lore to get into here, but it can be explained in some catch-up promos if this becomes a thing. We'll do some We'll put out some videos to explain it all. We'll see.
I need a big video package. That's a
exactly.
Or something.
There'll be a lot leading up to it, just to get the deep lore out to the fans who don't really care. They just want to see us punch each other, but they'll figure it out eventually once we show it to them.
I mean, you mentioned Joey Janela, potential tag team match and stuff. He did comment on your victory. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes. Did he say it on Instagram or something? I missed it.
It was on Twitter.
Oh,
and
I haven't been using Twitter. I don't use it at all anymore, but I posted some stuff today and yesterday. I should go look. I'm so bad at looking at replies and all that. What did he say?
I'll tell you what he said. So, you called out Seth Rollins and you got the response of like, oh, who's this guy calling out Seth Rollins? And Joey Janela said, that's Dad. I beat his ass before. I might have to do it again. That was his comment.
All right, Joey. All right, Joey. I knocked the guy out with one hit. The dude is all talk. What's he talking about? Dude, I survived Stink Face from Rikishi. If I can survive Stink Face, I can survive little man Joey Janela. Give me a break. The dude got nothing on Dad Bot. Come on, man. So he's down. If he's down, I'm down. I think it should be him and Harley versus me and John. GCW, anywhere, you name it, I'm there.
I love that. We gotta make.
I didn't know he said that. Thank you for telling me. I'm gonna start talking trash to him now.
Oh,
have
awesome.
you seen?
He threw me through a door. It was so disrespectful.
Have you seen the Rocky movies? Have you seen the Rocky movies? Because I think Janela will only. All right, well there you go. I would say I think he's only gonna fight you if you've seen the Rocky movies.
I've seen them all. I watched Creed 3 recently. It was tight. I liked it. Even though Sylvester Stallone was not a part of it, I still enjoyed it.
This is such an easy headline. Such an easy headline of Dad responds to Joey Janela, says he's seen all the Rocky movies. Oh, it's gonna pop. It's gonna pop just Joey Janela.
One night I sat down and put all of them on different TVs at the same time and turned it up full blast and absorbed all movies at the exact same time. So
wow.
I'm overtrained.
Oh, hey, this is very important. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jerry.
Janela won't know what hit him if that's the case. Yeah, he's in for a world of hurt if that's the case.
Big time.
Oh my god. This just came to mind. I know you're in your car right now, but have you gotten any new portable gaming systems since last time we talked?
Yes, actually. During training, I bought myself a Sega Nomad, the original portable Sega Genesis. I've been using that because I didn't bring any systems with me when I came up. Well, actually, that's a lie. I brought my portable PlayStation 1 up here with me, but I was craving some Genesis, so it was actually my happy place. I was playing Tiny Toons on Sega Genesis.
It's a great game. I used to play that.
It is super fun, right? It's one of my favorites. I bought it. There's a local video game store out here in Portland, Retro Game Trader. Shout out to them. They actually know they were fans of Keith Apicary, so I gotta give them props for knowing classic internet entertainment. But yeah, I bought a Sega Nomad. I've been playing that during training, and I'll head back home this week and be reunited with all my other portable systems. So yeah, what did you see before? The portable PlayStation or Dreamcast or something?
What was the last one? The 64 I think was the last one we saw.
The 64. Yeah. Showing you guys things that no one cares about, but thank you for being interested.
Yeah, no, I had to ask. Like, you just reminded me to ask you there. So that's
cool. Love those video games.
All right, last one from me. We'll get you out of here. We'll get you home. Get you to LA.
Oh, all good.
Who would win a hypothetical street fight between Eddie Kingston and Cody Rhodes?
We've been asking everyone lately, so we got a tally going on this answer. Actual street fight, no rules.
I think Eddie.
Oh, thank God. Oh,
okay. That's a lot.
I'm sweating there, Dad.
I don't think Cody is that vicious.
Yeah, bury him
of character.
Okay. Now let me flip this question.
He's a very emotional guy, although I'm very emotional and I'm pretty crazy. And I got bullied in high school. And that's probably why I'm so emotional. And it comes out in the ring. So maybe Cody. The thing is, you never know. You have a Michael Reeves like last year, Career Clash 1. So unassuming, becomes the Terminator. So I'll say Eddie Kingston, but I'll admit I might be completely wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'll flip this question a little bit.
Defend your boy. Steven
no,
Jensen.
I'll respect the answer. I think I'm the only person, maybe one other person so far has chosen Cody that we've ever asked.
Tom Talks Rubbish picked Cody because he used their actual wrestling match that they had.
Right, because he
Otherwise,
won an actual street fight in AEW, which is a good litmus test. I mean, he did defeat him. Now, my follow-up would be in Creator Clash 3, if it happened in a boxing ring, 10-ounce gloves, pro style, 4 rounds, the same kind of thing that we saw to Alex Wasabi and iDubbbz. Who wins that between Cody and Eddie?
Do either of them have any like actual combat training outside of pro wrestling?
Well, Cody was a 2-time state champion in high school wrestling. Eddie, I believe has like jujitsu training, but I don't think he's been like a formally like a competitor.
Eddie's from the streets. That's his training.
School hard.
The thing is, I think maybe still Eddie, because what my coach told me, I wrestled in high school amateur wrestling, and I thrashed these dudes that were bigger than me. And I think the reason is, and that's why I think I'm all right now, is my coach told me there's 2 types of boxers. There's fighters and there's boxers. He goes, you are a fighter. A boxer is good and technical, but they don't have that sort of rage in them and like desire to just wreck things. I have that for whatever reason. Something like I'm still sad from the bullying or something. It's my only chance to let it out of it's my therapy when the bell rings. So maybe whoever has that, and if that's Eddie, then I give it to him. Kingston. Because my coach also said, he goes, you can't teach that to boxers, but you can teach people who are fighters to box. So
that's fair. Very relatable, by the way, the being bullied. I have a lot of people that are watching this in the chat, like a lot of wrestling fans. We grew up like that. So, very, very relatable. Understandable.
The nerd,
a bunch of nerds. We're a bunch of nerds here. And we embrace it. Yeah. So
yeah, I do have one more actually.
I have a couple more quickly. Too. So yeah.
All right, I'll take them all.
Josh Barnett was there. He trained Morrison. He helped up with you. Like, ever thought about doing like blood sport? I know that is a very serious thing, and I don't know if Barnett, but yeah, have you talked to Josh about that?
I have. I would be down if I didn't really get hurt, but I just want to be involved. I just want to be involved in all of it, So it depends, I guess, what my involvement is. I guess. Maybe, I guess. But yeah, Josh is amazing. It was cool for me to meet him. I trained with them once or twice before the fight, with Josh and John. And he was there like doing MMA and then training John at the same time. It was like an extra day John had. And we were just at his like this big gym with all these people who were like actually hurting each other, like wrestling and stuff. And it was wild. It's just people rolling around the ground everywhere, fighting. And then John and I were like in the corner, like punching each other like softly. So that was cool to meet him and even be involved with that guy. He's like a legend. So I would do blood sport, but I don't want to like get actually hurt,
Sure. I could tell when Jeremy started asking the question, your face reaction, you could tell he was gonna ask if you wanted to do MMA, and you were like, I don't know about that. And then it was blood sport.
Blood sport.
Yeah, blood sport is blood sport is a very hybrid MMA or hybrid MMA wrestling type thing. And I know you're big on like the character work and stuff. So I didn't know if it would fit Dad.
The MMA aspects I don't want to do, unless there's like one little spot that I think, someone hits me like, and they really deliver it so I could sell it right. Fine. But, I don't want to do the MMA portion, but the pro wrestling, I'm down.
Yeah, Morrison's had a really good run in blood sport.
Yeah,
he's been doing great there. So
that was another reason I brought it up, because he does very well in that environment.
Yeah. I'm down.
Couple more quick questions regarding Creator Clash. First one, this is pretty not a yes or no, but do you think iDubbbz will fight again? I know he announced afterwards that it sounded like he was going to stop, and listen, I'd respect either way. I mean, I think just what he's accomplished in the 2 fights, and I followed his career pre all of this. I mean, just the physical transformation and the maturity, the development over time, just a completely different guy, it seems like. Totally. He's done so much work, and obviously could be cool to just have these 2 fights, but obviously there seems like there's a lot of demand. Alex Wasabi really led a chant afterwards. What's your feeling? Do you think, I know there's going to be another Creator Clash, but do you think iDubbbz fights in that one as well?
I don't know. It's up to him. I really don't know, but like my guess, based on what I've seen as just an observer and someone who like sort of knows Ian now, I feel he will probably do another one, even if he's not in the next one, the event happens, he's a part of it as a host, whatever, the MC of some kind, or however he wants to be involved. I think he would be involved in all of them. But I think I'm guessing it's like me, where it's like, do one more at some point, and it would be like fun to have like a comeback. It's like, oh, a year later, we haven't seen him in a year. He gets back in the ring, and then he ends. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he'll want to keep doing it until he wins. But he's like me, I think, where it's like, it's fun to say you did it, but you don't want to do it forever,
Sure.
because like we're not inherently made to fight like this as people, the two of us specifically, not humans in general, but like he and I feel. I don't know though. I really don't know what he thinks. So I myself would think like, okay, 2 is good. I'm good now, honestly. But maybe I should do a third one just to have like a cool trilogy done. And it was a nice chapter in my life. And I would keep it 16-ounce gloves for myself, because I don't want to get really messed up. Like, he gets messed up every year, like really battered, because he's got these 10-ounce gloves doing these pro fights. That's not for me. I feel like maybe if he did another one, I could see it being 14 or 16-ounce gloves to like save some damage, because it's almost not necessary. But Ian's a little crazy, maybe even crazier than me, because I don't think I would have done the pro fight. I'm an actor. I need to protect.
Sure.
That's the moneymaker right there.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Last question I got: is there anyone you haven't seen compete in influencer boxing, or even more specifically that you want to see in Creator Clash, like a YouTuber or an internet personality that we haven't seen compete, that you would not that you would want to fight, that you just want to see in there?
I feel, I think a lot of people think this, PewDiePie.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He looks so good now physically. He's working out. He's like, his energy and his whole thing is like, it fits this whole brand, and like all of us, it's like the nerdy, goofy, humorous guys who were scrawny now getting fit. Like, it kind of just works. And he's mutual friends with like the Grumps and Jacksepticeye and all these.
He was in the iDubbbz Rice Gum diss track video. I'll never forget.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he knows iDubbbz. Like, he's right there. So I feel like he would be great. I want to fight him because we're like the same size. Our body types will look the same, but I feel he's more of someone who would go up against iDubbbz. Like it's like that's like main event status, and I don't think I'm that, unless I build my name up as dad. I make myself main event over the years, maybe. But I think someone like PewDiePie, Mr. Beast would be amazing. But I don't know if I think there might be health reasons he couldn't do it. Airrack, a friend of mine is a guy named Airrack, who
I know he is. Sure.
I think he and I shot a video like 2 weeks ago together. He is awesome. He'll go for anything. I sent him some messages yesterday about something wrestling related that I don't want to reveal to the internet just yet. But I think would be good at Creator Clash. He's on his way to becoming the next Mr. Beast. So I think that would bring a lot of people to the event. It would be good for the event. Some of those guys I think would be good. Also, I think iJustine, she's an old timer YouTuber like me, who's pretty healthy, pretty fit. I don't know how I think she does like some sort of a wrestling or jujitsu as well. She's very physically active. I think iJustine would be a great person to add and I'd love to see how she could do. I think she would do pretty well. So those are some people, people from like way back, and just the big names,
Yeah, those are great shouts there. And for what it's worth, I've actually heard Mr. Beast himself say that he thinks A-Rack could be the next him. Like, he was asked like kind of who possibly could be like a 100 million subscriber channel out there, and he named A-Rack as a possibility. So yeah, there's some really good names. I'd like to see all of them compete. I would love if it was possible. The biggest fight ever would be if they could do Mr. Beast versus PewDiePie, the two guys with over 100 million subs.
100%. Exactly. They are the top of YouTube. That would be WrestleMania level. Yeah. That would be it would break all of influencer boxing.
Oh, it'd be bigger than the Paul fights. Like, people don't understand like how huge something like that would be. Yeah,
for sure. And I think the place that it would happen would be Creator Clash, because those guys are already in that world. It like PewDiePie's walkout would be so stupid and ridiculous. It would have to be a Creator Clash. So yeah,
love it.
I would have to see that. I hope to see that in my lifetime.
Yes. Well, hopefully we can make it happen. I know he's like retired and has been for years. He just kind of pops in and out. Like, he's getting in better shape. It'd be cool. It's really cool seeing Creator Clash as like an option for like people who have these big audiences that have these loyal audiences that have been around a long time, especially like on the internet. And regardless of where they're at, like view count wise or how many subscribers, like whatever, it just seems like a really good place to like just do something cool for your fans, make a lot of money, keep your name out there, and just like I feel like it's a big career resurgence for a lot of people too. I just feel like so much good comes for everybody involved in this thing. So yeah, absolutely. And thanks again, man, I know I said 1,000 times. I know we've talked for about an hour, so we'll let you go.
Okay.
You sat here and you had your car jumped in front of us, and I mean, we appreciate
I love it.
This
is the highlight of my day, so thank you.
Oh man, so
I appreciate you guys having me.
And I love having you on because there's not a lot of people I can nerd out on that are in the YouTube influencer space like you are. For me, as like a fan, knowing what's going on in this world, so it's really cool getting insight from someone who's in there in the weeds, if you will, Jeremy. Yes,
for sure. Well, thank you again. I hope to be paying attention to your site and see myself more on there, because that means I'm now in the wrestling world, and I want to be part of the dirt sheets. That's a dream of mine. So
I don't like the term dirt sheets. We report.
No, I know.
Even though
we
get accused of the clickbait.
I want to be a part of the talk, like what's going on in the world and in the universe. There was one time there was a leaked document from WWE. It was a script, and Keith Apicary, my character name, it was dialogue between me and Keith. It was something that Dolph had to shoot backstage at SmackDown. They're like, oh, we got to pull Dolph at one point and have him shoot this Keith stuff. And it was a leaked document. My friend found it. He goes, look, you're a leaked WWE document. It was like an honor. So I mean to say, like, to hear you guys reporting on stuff, for me to be part of that is like, I'm there. I'm where I want to be. It's like, it's exciting for me.
Awesome.
So,
very cool. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we wish you luck on the journey. Continue to manifest. Continue speaking into existence. Like this interview, you're gonna get a bunch of articles out of it. I got a bunch of clickbait headlines that people will be mad about, but they'll get over it.
Yeah.
Dad, thank you again for joining us. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
Just search Dad on YouTube. It's the first thing that comes up when you search for Dad. I got it. So look for Dad. My name's Nathan, my real name, because I've been on there since like my channel was 2006. So I'm working both channels, but mostly the Dad thing's the big thing I'm pushing right now. So yeah, that's where you can find me, Nathan and Dad on YouTube.
There you go. Everybody check out Dad Feels on Twitter as well. But go to the YouTube pages. All of them are down below. There are links in the description down below. Dad, thank you again. 3-time guest on this show. We really appreciate it. And you're welcome back. You're welcome back anytime. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Guys, we will be right back here on